Hello, this is Daisy Joy at Adventure Acres, and so for starters today, it is really cold out. We went straight from, hey kids, you should probably throw a jacket on, to, oh my word, we're going to have to dig out the winter coats. It's like mid-40s outside. It's gotten so cold so quickly, so we're going to have to start digging out the winter clothes. I've got my sweater on. Thankfully, Mr. Adventure had the chance to fix the fan on the furnace before it got this chilly out, and so we're gonna have to start thinking about our firewood situation and getting things ready for the cold weather. Yeah, I'm gonna try to warm up, and I'm gonna start with my coffee station. Okay, so here we are starting off the day with one of my favorite places in the house. This is my morning kickoff station. I guess you could call it that. I've got some tea steeping, some nice lemon ginger tea. I have some fresh lemon here ready to go in there. Now, if I had to choose my favorite area of the household, I think that this little spot would be it. Not just because I love coffee, although yes, I do enjoy coffee quite a bit. However, it's because this is my most logistically sound spot in the house. You know, this is the most settled part of the household because everything is where it's needed. It's very streamlined, which as you've watched videos before, you know that I'm big into economy of motion and making sure that things make sense where they are. And so I love this little spot because we've got all of my coffee fixtures here, and up in this cupboard here is where I have my tea, and this is also our dining area right behind me, and so we have some like seasonings and things up in the cupboard. And then we have over here, this is my mug station. There's Farmer Boy's tiny little hot cocoa cup. And so I have the mugs all up here in the cupboard. Everything is where it is handy to have it. And so I love this part of my house. It can be a bit of a catch-all sometimes. And so I try to keep on top of it because, you know, everybody kind of drops things off on the cupboard and shelf up there by where the moose is, and also onto the counters. And so I try to keep on top of it because this is such a great way to start the day. If you have something that is functional and streamlined and it's easy and you don't have to rifle through things to get to stuff, it's a great way to kick off your day. Alright, so my first task of the day is drinking my lovely lemon honey ginger tea, hoping it'll help to clear things up a little bit. What is your deal? Yeah, I know. Isn't that such a fun thing to see in the morning? And one of my first jobs in the mornings is to feed these two lovelies, Bubbles and Snowball. They're our house bunnies. And we usually have hay in here too, but Mr. Adventure has to pick some up from the store still. I would like to be able to grow some Timothy hay here at the farm, but that's a little ways off still. We use a pellet pine for their bedding. Oh, there you go. Tipped it a bit. There you go. If you put your food next to their litter box, usually that helps them to kind of learn how to use it, and so that's kind of how we've been trying to train them. I've got some Timothy hay pellets and also some fresh green peppers. They've been really good bunnies, yeah. This is really good tea, doing very fortifying things. I had just a respiratory thing. I had a cold, and I got better from the cold, but this is Iowa and it's the beginning of harvest season, and so we went out of town and there was just so much dust and everything in the air, churning everything up, and so it added to the complications of recovering from the respiratory thing. I had to go in and they had to put me on some medication to try to clear it up. It's taking me longer to recover. I don't have the cold anymore, but I'm still recovering from it. And that's kind of how multiple sclerosis works a lot, because even when you have something and you get over it, the recovery time is a lot more. Okay, so I've had a chance to check on all the critters. I've had my tea. I'm having a tremor in my hand right now. Ah. See, and this is how it goes. I get geared up to do something and then something starts happening. And I have to pay attention to that. I have to stop and say, okay, I need to pay attention. Because if I just plow forward and I'm having issues, that will drain my battery. So I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do next. We'll give it a second, see if it passes. Still going. This is where that whole positive attitude comes into play. Okay, I'm having a hand tremor. It's not the end of my day. I just need to regroup and I need to give it a little time. Maybe it'll pass. And I need to take the cues. If my body is telling me that it's stressed out, then I need to keep it really simple. Oh, it's really irksome. And see, the thing is, there are a lot of things that I need to do, but they require me to hold things and grip things and move things with my hands. And when I start having the hand tremors, it's really hard to hold on to things and grab them. And so I need to figure out what I can do. And now's the part where I challenge myself. I say, okay, you know, I need to rest and I will do that, but is there something that I can do even though my hand is bonkers? I know, bird. Okay, so I took a little time to get a few things in motion while I prepared to take a little rest. I started the washing machine. I put some cleaner in the toilets. I did some things that can work for me while I rest, and then hopefully by the time I get done resting, I will be able to have something to show for this time, even though I am resting. So, I have my phone propped up on a pillow because I can't really hold it very well. I'm sort of propping it with my left hand. When I have a hand tremor like this, it makes it hard to do things because it starts off kind of mild and then it gets a little worse as time goes if I don't stop and rest. Usually if I stop and rest, it does better. And it's not necessarily like laying down for sleep or anything. It's just putting myself in a place of relaxing and just not doing, which is hard, but that's the cards I got, so I'm gonna play them to the best of my advantage. For heaven's sakes, it's a challenge. I don't like to not be able to do what I want to do, but it's what I got, so I'm gonna work with it, and I'm gonna do the best that I can with what I have. So here goes. I'm gonna lay down for a little bit and just relax. I was able to just rest and listen to some music. I caught up on a couple of my homesteading channels that I follow, and I was able to kind of touch base and social networking. I haven't really been able to do very much online. My eye has really been bothering me. I was supposed to have a physical therapy appointment this afternoon, but I knew that feeling like I probably shouldn't be driving, and just kind of, I had to postpone it, reschedule it for later. Just trying to line up all my duckies. I was able to get a pretty good rest. I laid down, listened to some music. I'm feeling improved now, and so I'm kind of going from there. Hey, what are you doing in here? Yeah. Well, howdy do. We're so excited to have you visit. Part of the reason we have so many bees here is because of our apples. Unfortunately, there was a pretty windy storm recently, and so we lost a lot of apples. It was right at the middle of my being sick, and so there was no salvaging. We are collecting up some of the windfalls to feed the chickens, and it's always fun to see the bees. Okay, so here I am at my garden area, and again, wonderful year for peppers. Tomatoes are just done. They're so done. And this was my interesting little experiment over here. I have a purslane garden, and for those of you who are not familiar, this is a wild edible, normally a wild edible, and I had some beans and other peas here, which they're kind of fading at the end. There's a couple right there. But my purslane was doing so much better, so I just let it be a wild edible garden. We've been collecting little bits of purslane, and I feed them to the chickens and pick some of the leaves and mix them in with my scrambled eggs. Saute them up with the onions and green peppers. It's a very nutritious wild edible. So I've had a very successful accidental wild edible garden. All right, so as far as our garden goes, again, peppers for the win. They are really loving this container garden setup. They are really thriving. The tomatoes did not do so well. The next time I try to set up a raised container, I will set it deeper for the tomatoes, and I will try, this is largely an experiment. This is the first year that we've tried the raised beds, and so we're learning from the successes and from the not successes. So the tomatoes have been really hard to keep thriving. I have to water them 2-3 times a day during the really hottest parts of the summer. So I would say that as far as the tomatoes go, we're going to have to adjust our approach. But again, with the peppers, it's been amazing. And I'm very excited about using this system again for my peppers. We've had so many peppers. And I haven't been out here for almost a week because I've been sick, and some of my peppers have gotten a little wrinkly, which is okay because we could share them with the chickens. We'll check on the inside and make sure if they're okay on the inside. We can just dehydrate them or figure out other purposes for them besides the usual sauteed version. The chickies seem to know that I'm going to bring them their evening snack. Yes, I know, Dinosaur. Seriously. No, Dinosaur, you cannot have my peppers. Now, here at Adventure Acres, we have about 100 acres here. About 2 of that is the homestead here, and the rest of that is farmed out as rental land to a farmer that we know, a friend of the family. And so this corn is getting pretty close to harvest time. Still a lot of green. They seem to be pretty good ears of corn, at least on the ends here. So we'll see how that goes. But this is just one of the ways that we kind of gauge the passing of the seasons, is where our corn fence is. Sun's going down, so I don't want to be mosquito food. So here I am at the end of the day. Not quite the day that I was planning on. I just tried to make the best of it. It's really easy to get to the end of the day and to think about all of the things that I didn't get done. It's kind of a trap that I think a lot of people probably fall into. My house is messier than when I started off at the beginning of the day. There are dishes in my sink, which is just the worst for me. I don't like having dirty dishes in my sink. There are still apples on the trees that need to be picked. There's a basket of peppers on the table that hasn't been processed and put away in the freezer. I could spend an hour listing all the things that I didn't get done, but that's not where I'm going to put my focus. I try to kind of turn that around on itself, and at the end of the day, when it's a day like this, instead of thinking about all the things that I wanted to do and didn't have a chance to do, I wanted to bake today, I wanted to clean, I wanted to be productive, and I had aspirations for organizing and all sorts of things, but that's not the day that it was. Doesn't mean that I didn't get things done. I have a whole basket of peppers on my table that are ready to process when I'm ready to do it. Obviously today is not a good day for me to be cutting up things with my hand all messed up. That's not wise. So I'm waiting to do that. I began the day with tea. Now I am ending it with more tea. I stayed hydrated. This tea is really helping with the congestion in my head, and sinus issues are kind of abating, so that's a positive. That's an accomplishment. I enjoyed the homestead. that's kind of a big one, I think. You know, there are a lot of people who get to a homestead and they push and push and push and they try to outdo themselves. And one of the big things that I want to do, because I'm on the homestead, is to just honor the fact that I'm here and to soak it up and to enjoy what it is to be here. You know, I dreamed about getting to the homestead for a long time, probably since I was a little kid. I was reading Little House on the Prairie books. And then after we were married, even when we were living overseas in Japan and thinking about our future, this is the life that I wanted to have, and I get to have it. And so it's an accomplishment to recognize that I'm here and this is happening. You know, taking the moment to go out and greet all of our critter crew and revel in the achievement of a garden and visit with the honeybee. You know, this isn't a big tally of really impressive things to accomplish. I think that they're important things, and so I'm going to say that I had a good day and that I accomplished what I needed to accomplish. So even though this isn't quite the day that I had planned, I did get things done today. There's always dishes tomorrow. So as I finish my tea and reflect on the day that I did get to have, I wonder if anyone else has similar struggles. If you've gone through a day like today and come to the end of it and you feel like it was just a completely worthless day. It's not. If you look for the worth in it, you will find it. So that's my big pep talk. You know, really, it's not. These pep talks are just as much for me, okay? Oh, but mercy. It's a good day. It's different. It's not what everybody would think of as a good day, but it was a good day. So I'll take it. I'll file that one away. So I'm gonna finish my tea and I'm gonna get some more rest, and hopefully tomorrow will be a different day and maybe I'll be able to get some of the things done that I wanted to get done. Hopefully my hand will be improved. Hopefully I'll have a chance to get rest. And again, I hope I can offer some kind of encouragement to someone out there, because I know it's hard. If you're dealing with something like this, it's hard to be positive, but somehow I managed to have fun today, even in spite of the pressing desire to want to become a blanket cocoon and just give up. Somehow I managed to have fun and enjoy my day. So there you have it. This is Daisy from Adventure Acres. May your efforts be blessed and may your adventures be the fun kind. Signing off for now. This is seriously good tea.